Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome back to a brand new video on our channel. In this video, we'll be discussing potential double game week and blank game week strategies and chip strategies that could help you navigate these blank game weeks. So without any further ado, let's just straight dive into the video. First up, we have the fixture ticker by Ben Krellen. I think most of you are not familiar with this. Ben Krellen puts up this fixture ticker which will help you navigate the blank and double game weeks. I'll just quickly get you and skim through it. Game week 25 is a blank and double for 4 teams respectively. Game week 27 is a double game week for 4 teams. Game week 28 will be a blank for at least 10 teams. Game week 29 will be a double and is the biggest double in the season with 12 teams doubling up in that game week. Game week 32 will also be a blank game week with at least 4 teams and at max 8 to 10 teams blanking that game week, and game week 34 will also be a double game week but not as big as 29. That being said and put out, I think that you can freeze the screen, look at this table and easily figure out what should be your chip strategy, what looks like a potential chip strategy here. But let's dive into the chip strategies that we have curated for you and I have curated for you, which should in my opinion help you navigate all the possible blank and double game weeks coming ahead. First up, we have the popular chip strategy, which I think is one of the best chip strategies given the game state. It depends on your team, obviously, but it looks like one of the best strategies available in the market at this point, which is free hit gaming 29, wildcard gaming 33, and bench boost 34. So the pros and cons have been listed. I think if your team is not very heavy on Brentford and Brighton assets, this strategy really suits you because you don't have to overcommit in 27 to get those assets. You can get one each, and then you can sell them in 28 as well. Also, it allows you to get two Liverpool assets and probably then even sell them later on if they don't have a fixture in 28. uh, the pro to this strategy is obviously having 11 double gaming players, which could also mean letting go of Arsenal and Manchester City assets who have a single gaming, which could hurt you as well, which is a possible con. But again, the upside to this is very good. Your free hit has huge upside, and the upside is not limited as a 20-15 points, but it could be as huge as a 30-40 point upside there. Also, it allows you to maximize the bench boost chip. When I mean this, when you wildcard in 33, you will be able to get, you will have full information of who's doubling in 34 and 37. So you will have full information to which players do you want to buy in 33, and then you can have a 15 player squad who's doubling in 34. Also, there's only 1 week between game week 33 and 34, so there's not many chances of injury, and if there is at all any, you can deal them with free transfers. Also, this allows you to navigate Game Week 32 very well, which means that when Game Week 32 approaches, the blank approaches, you can dead end your team. By dead end, I mean sell out players you don't want that game week and want later on. So maybe certain players like from the City team or the United team who don't have a fixture that game week, you can sell them someone like a Rashford, Bruno, Haaland, and then later on buy them again on your wildcard in Game Week 33, so that 32 can be easily managed and you don't have to worry about your players blanking. Also, there are some cons as I discussed. Arsenal versus City will be a big con to deal with in Gaming 29 if you free hit there. Also, your free hit will majority be of mid-table teams such as Leicester, Brighton, Bournemouth, which could go either ways because they're not very reliable attacks or defense. So they could explode and get you points, but again on the counter as well, they could still score less than single gaming players from big attacks and big teams. Apart from that, it will be tougher to navigate the blank gaming 28, but I think having 9 players from blank gaming 28 is enough to navigate that game week. You will not really have a lot of differentiators in blank gaming 28, so wasting a chip in that game week absolutely makes no sense to me. That being said, we'll move on to our second strategy. The second strategy is to free hit in game week 32, you wildcard in 29, and you bench boost in 34. So this strategy is essentially again trying to make the maximum use of the double game week we have in 29, which is the biggest double game week of the season. You have to have essential double game week players there, and that is what this chip strategy helps you, because then you can focus on game week 27. You can get in your team completely in game week 28, and then you can fresh start with the 29 wildcard. You can easily navigate the blanks in this gaming in this strategy, because gaming 32 you free hit, you don't have to worry about it. 28 you're dead ending your team, so you can not worry about it as well. Although it allows you to, it minimizes your chances of maximizing game week 29, which is a double, but I think most people will not have more than two doublers that game week, and which is totally fine as well. Although the cons of this draft, which I think are some major cons of this draft, are that you can't commit to 11 double gimmick players in 29. You will have to have certain players like Haaland, maybe an Arsenal asset, maybe a double Arsenal up, maybe Kane, depending on your future bench boost strategy, which will allow you to only maximize the double gimmick by a bit and not by a huge margin. So you won't really gain a lot of the double gimmick in 29. Apart from that, your bench boost is way far from the wild card, which means that between 29 and 34 there could be multiple injuries that could happen in your squad, which could actually affect your bench boost plan essentially. When it's best to always wildcard near and closer to your bench boost so that you can maximize your bench boost, essentially gaining 20-15 points in terms of your opponent. Also, you will, I think we covered the third point, you will have a slightly weaker team in 27, but I think that is totally dependent on your team state and game state. That can be dealt off very easily. I think this is my second favorite strategy that is still allows you to make maximum use of your team. But this also could be third depend. This also could be third best depending on your team structure. So very important to look at team structure at this point when you're looking at this strategy. When we move to the third strategy, is very similar. It depends on your team structure, but again, it's a very popular one. When you wildcard in game week 27, you free hit in game week 28, and then bench boost in 29. So this strategy is very committed to 3 game weeks, and I think you maximize game week double game week 25, 27, 29 because the teams which are doubling in 27, which is Brighton, Brentford, have a good double or a decent double in 29 as well. So Brighton have a very good double in 29. Brentford have an okay double in 29, but you can deal with it. It allows you to navigate game week 28 without any worry. So you can double up or you can load up on Arsenal, Everton, and Liverpool assets, especially Liverpool assets in 25, who have a double game week, and then they have a fixture in 27, an easy fixture in 27, and they then again double in 29. So that could be a possible strategy. The only caveat here or the only problem I have with this strategy is that Liverpool have a very tough double in 29, so you're not really essentially maximizing their potential, but again, is basically committing players and having numbers out there in game week 29. Also, there's a huge gap in terms between your wildcard and bench boost. When I say this, that there's the international break between your wildcard, international break plus 1 game week between your wildcard and bench boost, and it's always very tough to have a bench boost after the international break because there are huge number of injuries that happen in the international games. Also, there's always false information in terms of who's fit or who's not. Managers tend to give some certain and keep certain news to themselves and do not give it out to the press. And this happens almost all in international breaks. So it's very hard to judge if you won't be very confident playing your bench boost chip in that game week. It will be very hard to judge whether your player will play or not. So it will be very tough, and to it will essentially make you lead to very taking too many hits, which could become a problem essentially down like in your bench boost and take out the essence of the bench boost. It will become very tough to navigate blank gaming 32 because most big teams, Arsenal, apart from Arsenal, I think City, United, Chelsea, uh, Newcastle, Brighton, all of these teams will almost definitely blank in game week 32. So and your team will be stacked with such players. So it will be very tough to navigate blank game week 32. And then if you navigate that very well, if you remove those players, then it will be very tough to get those players back. Then who again double in 34. So your game week 34 and 32 both will be compromised at very big ends. Again, if you wild bench boost in this strategy, you will be committed to having at least 3 Brighton or at least 2 Brighton and 2 Brentford, which reduces the number of single game week players you have, which is Arsenal and City in game week 29, and those players can hurt you in general because they are big team players. They can actually explode in that game week as well. I think Arsenal have an easy fixture against Leeds, and even City against Liverpool is not the worst fixture to play again in. And limited upside in free hit. By this I mean most when you free hit in 28, most people have a similar 9 or 8 players. The only differential you will create is in 2 or 3 players, and the maximum differential point could be 15, 20 points. So there's not much upside, which is decent about according to a free hit draft, but there's not huge upside. So in case someone who's fielding 9 players, you could have the exact same 9 out of 11, and the only 2 players could be differential, and they should perform to gain you actually gain you any points out of there. So I don't think it's the best strategy to gain anything out of a free hit. And the last strategy that I don't prefer at all is the free hit 28, wildcard 33, and bench boost 34. This really there is some pros to it. It allows you to maximize game week 30, 27, the double 25 and 34 to an extent. Yes, it does allows you to maximize your bench boost, but I really feel that not maximizing the biggest double game week of the season is really poor. It really doesn't allow you to do that because you can't overcome it in terms of Brighton and Brentford assets. Maybe you can, but again, I'm not very confident if you will be able to. The free hit will obviously be low upside, and if you even commit on Brighton and Brentford assets, Brentford have a tougher double and have decent fixtures in game week 30 and 31, but Brighton who have an easier double have tougher fixtures in game week 31, 30, 31, and then blank in 32. So you won't be able to essentially be very committed to this cause, and it will be slightly tougher to navigate game week 32 because you might have too many players blanking your team. Even with free transfer, you might not be able to actually navigate your team better. So yeah, for people who don't have chips left, or people who don't have any sort of chips left, who don't have a free hit or a wild card, essentially you should plan your chip strategy around gaming 29. So let's say you don't have a free hit, you probably try to navigate your team and then wildcard in 29 and then continue beyond that, or you try to stretch your team and then wildcard in 34, bench boost in 30, the bench wildcard in 33, bench boost in 34. If you don't have a wildcard, you probably want to free hit in 29, maximize that, and then you can carry on and figure out how you want to settle your team with. If you don't have any chips left, it's probably okay. You just have to make use of free transfers and nothing can happen. I've not discussed triple captain throughout the chip only because I think you can play it in a smaller double game week. I think the time has gone, or maybe play it in a single game week. I think the next best option would be when you play it in game week 37, when game week 37 is a double game week. And that's about it. That's the early thoughts that are out now. I think it should give you an idea of what the chip strategy could look like. It would give you enough basis to think on your chip strategy on your own, and it should really help you guys, in my opinion. Also, if you've not noticed, this video was sponsored by the One Football app, which is one of the best football apps to go to in terms of news, fixtures, and updates. It's really quick. The user interface is really good. So throughout the video, if you saw somewhere the QR code and the app integration, please scan the QR code and download the app from us. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.